Hey everybody, Radaman here. Thanks for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included, episode 29. So, last episode we made a little bit of effort, let me slow things down, to get our oil refinery ready. But there are some things I want to do first. So first things first, I want to fix this light. This light is just going to break. It's made of copper, and it's going to get damaged. So instead of letting the oil refinery break that and then having the perpetually, hey, this thing is broken, alert, I will replace it before that happens. So other things I want to do, immediately, we have all of the cables and plumbing to set up a liquid pump. So let's get that liquid pump going. This liquid pump is going to send oil, crude oil, to this liquid reservoir. And this liquid reservoir is going to hold onto it until I have an oil refinery ready to go. To cover some of the feedback I got, so one is from Talon. Talon mentioned that my plumbing over here at the steam generator is a little wrong, so I'll correct that. And yeah, that's about it. That's, I guess, all of the what I found to be useful feedback. Okay, this incubator is 91%, so that's pretty close. So the other project I really want to work on is getting natural gas tapped. So I'm trying to get petroleum, crude oil, natural gas before I do my metal refining. I do need petroleum for this airlock, though. So that's a non-negotiable. So I have to rebuild this a little bit. But there we go. Redesigning this lock, and then this is just a caspation for the petroleum. And then once this is, I'll have to break this down again and redesign it a third time. But it will make sense once I do it. So another thing I wanted to do is this pump here is pretty soon going to be pulling oxygen. If we take a look at the gas overlay, oh, that's not gas. Here, gas overlay. There is a little bit of oxygen down here, and soon it's going to be pulling oxygen, which means that unless I start to filter for it, it's going to spill a whole bunch of oxygen into a whole bunch of oxygen in my hydrogen lines, and that would be a royal pain in the hiney. So, I'm going to keep that pump off for a second. I have to figure out where exactly I want to filter this thing. I guess I could filter it here. So put a gas shutoff and a gas element pipe sensor. Hook up automation wires. And then once this will be empty in a second here. Once this is empty, I will have a high pressure gas vent. So let's break this down. It's going to look something like this. This is also going to be plugged in. There. I have 39 days until this needs to get done, so it's kind of a low priority. But I don't want it in the back of my mind of something I need to do and just haven't done yet. Alright, so this is a gold amalgam light. Hopefully that will stand up against the temperatures. Hopefully. Alright, and we'll move the location of the light too so it can be serviced if broken. Alright, it looks to me like this needs to get swept. In fact, a whole lot of it does. This still needs to get built, including the ladders. And I'm really not going to introduce any new work to these duplicates until they can catch up. So let me just increase the speed and give them a breather. Alright, so this light still reaches where the oil refinery will be. If you go to the light overlay, you can see where the light casts. So the light casts to the grooming and the, the light casts over here as well. To the shearing, grooming, shearing, so on and so forth. Just to speed those tasks up, because light makes tasks quicker. Light reduces duplicate stress, and... Oh, well, yeah, that's the wrong information, but... Okay. So, now... I've got... Nope, this isn't built yet. No, it's partially built. Alright, so that will be all set. If it's oxygen, we will dump it here. And in fact, it looks to me like I need some air vent tiles, because we do have some carbon dioxide getting pressurized. So this is going to be a unbreathable gas for hydrogen, powered to the gas shutoff. Oh, still getting overheat damage. Well, that's alright. So, let's take a look here. It's getting damaged because it's in vacuum. But I'm not worried about it, because I'll just repair it once it's, once the room is cooled. Because what's happening here is ceiling lights actually do produce heat. And when there's a vacuum here, there's nowhere for the heat to go, so the light basically just destroys itself. I guess I shouldn't have plugged it in. But alright, here's the oil refinery that we're waiting on, and then the last liquid pipe. And we are going to prioritize that construction and the construction of the wiring and pump down there. Now this pump is going to also be destroyed due to the hot oil, but there's no way around that, and I plan for it. I'm okay with that, so I don't, I'm not looking for the comments of, hey, you, destroyed your... It's like, yes, I know. It got destroyed. Let's go also to finish this up. Alright, so now the carbon skimmer is actually grabbing the carbon that's here. That's good. Alright, so the liquid pump is overheated, but it is sending crude oil. So this is the first time I'm moving crude oil through plumbing. And then when the oil refinery starts refining, it's going to outgas natural gas, which the Weezeworts will then cool down. And that's going to allow me to keep a light on and not have it just blow itself up, because there's nowhere for the heat to go. The heat will go into the natural gas atmosphere. This pump here, I'm going to set to 1, because I don't want to repair it. Once the pump fully breaks, I'm going to remove it. I'm only going to replace that pump with... Once that pump breaks, I'm only really going to think about replacing it with steel. Don't know why I couldn't think of the word steel, but alright, so be it. Alright, so as you can see, this is overheating. Once we refine a little... Here, do we have oil? Yeah, we have oil. So let's refine a little bit of oil into natural gas, and that will make it so that the light doesn't vacuum destroy itself. So now we're getting petroleum and natural gas atmosphere in here, and as you can see, it's no longer vacuum and will no longer cause this this light to break. This light breaks at 125C, so it should no longer be constantly destroying itself, because it's only 60C here. That was just a problem of, again, vacuum. Alright, so we do have a little bit of, here, I'm going to set this to 1. Okay, good. We do have a little bit of petroleum now, to 150 kilograms of it, and I'm going to set this flow control to 1 gram per second. Basically, I just want a tiny, 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 tiny bit of petroleum to spill out of there. And that's going to be for my water locks. Another thing I could end up doing is a bottle emptier, so that we can put mopped up petroleum back in it if we want. All right, taking a look at my filter here, I do think that this is ready for this pump to go back on. I think I've done this right. I'll watch it, just in case I did it wrong. Okay, it seems to be passing through. So yeah, I think this is set up right. Because eventually what would happen is, if we go to the gas overlay, this oxygen here, there's actually quite a lot of it. It's just pressurized at the bottom. But that oxygen would eventually be pulled, and without proper filtration, it would be sent to our hydrogen tanks and then damage our hydrogen generators, which I have no interest in constantly replacing and repairing. So here we go. Now that we have natural gas here, we no longer have a light that's destroying itself, and we have a very, 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 very slow drip of, here, I could bring this up to like 3 grams, a slow drip of petroleum, so that we can mop it up for water locks. So the water locks, or the liquid locks I should say, because it's not going to be made of water, is going to be built up here. So let's go then next. This is my next big priority project, is get these liquid locks in place, or okay, it's taking too long to actually puddle. Yeah, okay, so it's here-ish. There we go. Now we have a puddle of it, and let's set this to 0. No, don't walk past it. Oh my god, Angelia, just turn it off. There we are. So now we have a little bit of a puddle of petroleum that we can mop up and use as a liquid lock. And I have a new printable. Suit wearing, researching, decorating? No thanks. Building, doctoring, tidying? Nah, not quite there. I guess Drecklet. Congratulations, Drecklet. I don't believe we have space for another Drecklet. A regular Drecklet. Oh, no, we do. Critter size 7. Perfect. Okay, we'll get that finished up. Yep. Alright, so here's the petroleum that we're going to use, and then we're also going to need a little bit of crude oil. So, another thing I could do is create a dedicated pool of crude oil to then drip, rather than having to find somewhere deep underground where we can do it automatically. So I want a liquid valve again. Where do I want to put this? I'll put this over here. So a liquid valve here, and then a liquid vent here, liquid pipe here. And I'm not going to connect that yet until I got it all set up. So then this will be our, actually move that over one. This will be where we drip oil for liquid locks, just like the way we drip petroleum. Now this is a little bit more petroleum than I kind of wanted. I only wanted like 50 grams, not 280. But in this case, I do have a catch basin so that it catches the excess that I don't want, you know, spilling everywhere. Alright, so the ventilation seems to be working. The oxygen's being shoved into my base, and the hydrogen is going through. Perfect. Yeah, I knew that was the case when I looked at the gas overlay, and now, as you can see, it's like, it's majority oxygen, it looks like, from a quick glance. So that would have been a problem if had I not addressed it. Alright, this looks like it's coming along. This flow control hit to 0 before I connect it to the liquid vent. And building broken. So my liquid pump is fully broken. I'm just actually going to break it down. I don't want to replace it. When we do replace it, it's going to be steel and not gold amalgam. That way it doesn't break from the temperatures. Or, alternatively, we cool down the oil or something. But no, don't deliver gold amalgam. Ah, come on. Disable auto repair is what I really should have done. Alright, so the natural gas we've made no progress on. Cool. We will. In time. I just won't add anything more to their plates. But small management type stuff. So once this is vacuum sealed up, once this physical area is vacuumed, I'm going to put airflow tiles back in here and allow the hydrogen to free flow from the geyser back to this gas pump, which is Atmo and gas element censored, so that we can, go back to the way it was. All right, so then the next project I'm waiting on is this this drip basin. Alright, let's get that under control. Flow control 15 grams. Should be nice and slow. And then back to 0. And mop. Alright, so now we have some mopped up oil. And if I'm not incorrect, we could do oil and then petroleum on top. And we are going to have 2 of them so that it's vacuum sealed. In between to prevent heat from being a problem. I don't believe I have any other bottle emptiers that are for oil, so once this oil gets dripped here, we'll do natural gas. There we are. We have the oil. And mop this up. And then we can switch from oil to petroleum. And then this will be back to oil. And that should form double locks. Double liquid locks. That will keep us nice and protected. Alright, so the natural gas in here I'm not doing anything with. But I will put it into these gas reservoirs, these natural gas reservoirs. What I do need to do is a Atmo sensor. I want to keep a certain amount of atmosphere. I'll put the Atmo sensor up top. I want to keep a certain amount of atmosphere in here so that it doesn't vacuum seal, so that my lights don't blow themselves up. Yeah. See if that works. When enabled, the light turns on. I could also do that with over here, but I'd have to have an AND gate, or an OR gate rather, for both the shearing and grooming. So, kind of lower priority. Okay, so let's stop sending oil here. So we do have a little bit of oil for the liquid locks, and now we just need the petroleum. So let's go over to the petroleum itself. Okay, someone's already carrying it. I think, yep, Muhammad has it. And it looks like this is slowly getting vacuum sealed. That's really, really good. Yeah, so this is all vacuum, and this is like micro of... Okay, so here we go. We have a petroleum. Oh, it has slime lung in it. That's all sorts of weird. Why does it have slime lung in it? It doesn't really matter. I don't think, because... But why would it have slime lung? Does my oil have slime lung? Nope. I honestly don't know why it would have slime lung in it. Very, very odd. So let's allow the flow control to go up again, and that is one of my 2 petroleum locks. I don't know. I haven't actually had to deal with this. I'm not exactly sure if the slime lung's going to be a problem for me to pass through and get slime on my suits. I guess we'll see. If that's the case, I will have to deal with it. Okay, well, that's good to know. So this now is going to be where I deposit my crude oil that I mop, because that looked weird. Because I am going to have excess crude oil. And, oops, I should have been keeping an eye on that. This is more than I want. Alright, so as far as automation goes, this will say if above 1,000, turn on, which is nowhere near above 1,000. If we ever need natural gas in an emergency, I can always change the atmo sensor settings. Oh my god, could someone... Okay, thanks, Triforza. And then, once it does pump, we are going to want to put a gas bridge in here. Like that. And then have it go into the natural gas storages. Alright, so we have petroleum to dump. About 1 kilogram of it, but that's alright. So, petroleum, let's go create another liquid lock. And this petroleum does not have slime lung in it, I don't think. Hopefully. Oh, so... yeah, all of this... Okay, yeah, that's fine. All of this crude oil here is getting deposited here because there's really nowhere else for it to go. So another thing I might want is... let's turn this off for now, because I have some crude oil that could be added to liquid locks later if I don't continue to mop it. Okay, the locks are done. Everything over here needs to be mopped up. And then the mesh tiles replaced with something that's airtight. And then I'm going to need some ventilation. So mini gas pumps, 1 and 2. And then I don't even care what's in here. I just want to dump it. Because this needs to be vacuumed because I don't want to introduce this polluted oxygen and oxygen into the hydrogen environment. And this needs to be vacuum sealed permanently. It just needs to be vacuumed. So as far as all the jobs here, this is now the new priority because this is keeping us from our I think what I'm going to do over here is a liquid mini pump. The trouble is, a liquid mini pump, yeah, I'll do it anyway. Well, it's going to look a whole bit of messy. But the idea here is to put the oil back so that when I do dump it, it goes back into circulation. That's fine. Okay, so what we're going to need for these is then also switches. This is starting to look really messy, but that's okay. So we're going to want switches to then turn on these pumps on demand. And I guess this will be construction priority 8, because the other one's 9. And then we're going to have storage available for us to put the crude oil away. Although this crude oil is just about full up. So one thing I could start to do is to process this oil in the oil refinery so that the oil in my pipe has somewhere to go, so that the oil that's getting swept up and dumped here can go somewhere as well. And this petroleum is not germy. Okay, the slime lung seems to be slowly dying anyway, so I'm not going to fret. Another thing I wanted to check is gas overlay. It is vacuum. Okay, awesome. Let's turn this off. In fact, not only off, but broken down significantly. And then this will lead like that. This is set to if above 3,000, so let's say 5,000. And then I am just adding as much insulation tile as I can to keep it as protected as I can. Another thing I'm going to need to do, of course, is to run wires over here. So I'm going to run wires from here, like that. I still don't really have anywhere to put this liquid phosphorus. So that's something for me to figure out sometime down the line. And then we'll get our petroleum and oil recycling up. Well, I haven't checked temperatures in a while. So, of course, the hydrogen storage is putting off a lot of heat because it holds hot hydrogen. But none of this heat is really seeping too badly into the rest of everywhere else. One thing I might want to do is put some Weezeworts around here. Now, another thing is, I did mention this in the past, but I do want to eventually set up a proper power station that can handle hydrogen, natural gas, coal, and has room for expansion. I haven't done that yet, because other things have become priorities. None of these are good. That's too bad. Reject all. I don't even want the muck root. Alright, so now the recycling is enabled, so I can put crude oil here, set to 1. Which means if I have a liquid lock trying to get made anywhere else, it won't prioritize this over anywhere else. But it does allow us to put this liquid oil somewhere. Now I'm going to prioritize using the refinery. Oh, what was that noise? Someone was probably briefly starving or something. But that went away real quick. Alright, let's sweep this up so then I can repurpose this area. That is an unreachable build, is it not? And in fact, I'm going to ridiculously high prioritize everything here. So now the oil will be returned back to the reservoir. And then when I don't want that to happen, because I want to mop up oil for liquid locks, I can always just turn this off. So, problem solved. But of course, there's nowhere for the oil to go because it's backed up in the reservoir. Which is why I want to actually use this oil refinery a bit. But I really want this done. So, after these two liquid locks, we will have the area where we do carbon refining. I'll probably also move my rock crusher and have our oil refinery. So that's a whole lot of stuff. So if the oil refinery is going to be over here, or the metal refinery rather, not oil refinery. If the metal refinery is going to be over there, I also need to send some of this oil that way as well. Which is a little tricky. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to pause just a second and start running the pipes that will allow for the metal refinery to have a liquid medium for coolant. I guess I never really explained how a metal refinery works, so I'll do that in just a moment. But basically, the metal refinery, when running, generates a ton of heat. A ton of heat. And the only way to keep it running without it destroying itself from the heat is to run coolant through it. It's really just... When I say coolant, I just mean really any liquid that can, that can take extra heat. One really important thing you need to do is to make sure it doesn't phase change, which means don't use any water-based coolants for it, because what will end up happening is the metal refinery will intake like liquid water and then heat it up so hot it becomes steam. And then it's just going to straight break your, your metal refinery, because it will do a phase change. Really, any sort of phase changes are bad. Right? You don't want phase changes inside of really for any reason. Okay, so let's get... So that we can turn this gas pump back on, let's get this sealed up. And then this is already pumping out. So what we're doing is oil won't phase change on us like water might. So what I'm going to do is to set our metal refinery up to take this oil, and we are going to set the oil to go through... Oh, this is all set. We're going to set the oil to then go through the metal refinery. The oil will absorb the heat, the excess heat from the metal refinery, and then... what are you doing there? 6, 7... 7, 8. Let's do another stone. And then the heat will then be used to boil water in below the steam generators, so that the steam generators... Whoa, it is negative 66. It's frigid in there. Boil water below the steam generators so that the steam generators can produce power. That's the sort of the long game, I guess. All right, let's do a sweep errand here. So we're pretty soon we're going to be able to have. Oh, this is glorious. So the idea of here is I want this suit lock to be the one that leads to my metal refinery, and not this one, because this one takes too long. It's too long of a trip. So. What I want to do is I want to eventually have the conveyor rails bring all of the necessary reagents, and then have a have the metal refinery something like, put it something like here. Basically as close to a door that's going to be set up here as possible. So maybe right here, actually. So let's go ahead and build for that. And this one's already vacuum. Stellar. And the other one's already vacuum. Alright, all this can get broken down. It was all just to vacuum seal. Alright, so the metal refiner is going to be here because that is the most convenient spot in proximity to our door that will eventually be located here. And then I'm also going to want my conveyor rails. I'm going to want a auto sweeper here and a conveyor chute here. And then these conveyor rails that were set up to bring my copper or my refined iron and my coal down to this location. So I'm actually going to put the chute up one where the high pressure gas vent is. And then the auto sweeper will store it in the storage bin for me automatically. So let's set up those conveyor rails. Now the only other problem is I don't exactly know what the physical layout of everything will be in this area, right? I haven't really like determined the dimensions of this, but whatever. All right, so there's my conveyor rail. And that's going to be unreachable. Cool. Very excited about this. So the conveyor rail will bring the refined metal, the refined iron that we need in order to make steel with, and then it will also bring coal, and we will refine the coal into refined carbon here as well. This also is going to be, let me deconstruct this, on its own power grid. So everything that's happening over here is going to be on this 2K line. So let's get the conductive wire running to the 2K line from here. Once these cables are broken down, I can do it a little bit easier. All right. So for this area, we are not only going to need a metal refinery, but we're also going to need a kiln. The kiln produces refined carbon, which is a reagent. And then it wouldn't be a terrible idea to have the rock crusher around here as well. Which then stands to reason that I need a spot to store those. So in this storage bin, I'm going to set this to 6. And let's put in all the reagents that we need to be able to make steels, which would be, I'm totally drawing, it would be refined iron. And I don't think I've made any activated carbon, so I can't put that in yet either. Once I make my first batch, I'll be able to put that down. All right, this is the new project. I'm actually going to bump this out a little bit, have it be a little bit more spacious. And then the ladder here be plastic. I'm actually probably going to wall this up from the bottom. Because I don't want anyone from this airlock to get here. It will screw up. You really only want one port of entry and exit, or it will start to screw up the way your locks work. Now, it does look like passing through this water lock, it eventually will die off. The slime lung will die off. But as you can see, it is infecting... Oh, no, that's just because sine curve is holding slime. So never mind. Yeah, I could be wrong. Maybe that airlock is fine. I could actually experimentally check. Angelia, you don't have any slime on you. Let's pass through the water lock. Okay, it's fine. It's not an issue. That's good. So the metal refinery will be here, and then we'll have a rock crusher and kiln. We'll also have storage for the things that are important for the rock crusher and kiln. I can't go any further east because of this geyser, this volcano. The atmosphere in here doesn't really matter. Who's getting stressed? Dennis, Keith. Now the next question is why? I'm just reclaiming some Weezeworts. I could always dig around for some more, because I think there are some more that I have access to. Oh, another thing I need to do is, now that this is all vacuum sealed and all that, airflow tiles. And I'll set this to 9. That's actually a high priority. Has nobody been refining? Oh, yeah. Okay, that's my fault. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. It would need to be like a pressure plate or something. Or there's a bunch of automation, like a duplicate motion sensor to determine if a dupe's nearby, or a weight plate, you know? But I'm not going to worry about it. I can just have the light on at all times. Alright, here comes the conveyor rail. So the old chute needs to break down. And then the rail will bring everything over to this bin. And this bin is only set up to hold, right now, only iron and, I guess, coal. It needs to hold coal as well. It is getting too cold in here, so I'm going to uproot all of these Weezeworts so that the mirth leaf is functional. Okay, now that we have those airflow tiles, hydrogen will be then running again through the whole tube. Another thing I could do is up here, deconstruct these old airflow tiles, because they're simply not needed. And new printables. Slickster, farming, building, loud sleeper. No, I don't even want the Slickster. Well, yeah, I'll print the Little barbecue can't hurt, right? Alright, Treforza, did you... Nope, you are still Not at max level. That's fine. So as you can see, my hydrogen is getting used up quick. If I really, really, really want more hydrogen, I would just have to uncap my oxygen over here. But I don't want to do that. It would use up a lot of water. So we have a lot more work to do over yonder. Yep, but that is sort of the stopping point. So next episode, here is what I'm planning on doing. I'm planning on setting it up so that that oil from this line here can get pulled towards the metal refinery. Then what I need to do is store some of the oil in a liquid reservoir in here, and then set it up so that the metal refinery runs its hot excess output oil to a steam room. I also want to set up a rock crusher, kiln, and eventually a door here so that it just accesses this pocket of space once it's done constructed. If you have any feedback for me, do let me know in the comments below. Again, this is just one more episode towards metal refining. Who knew it was going to be this complicated? It actually doesn't need to be. If I'm being honest, you can always have a metal refinery that doesn't power up a steam room, but I just thought it would be fun to combine those two because the metal refinery does produce a ridiculous amount of heat, and you have to deal with it one way or another. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch y'all next episode. Farewell.